A distinctive, ambitious Indian dark comedy series? Christmas came early this year. Let's break it down. Meet Maya Ahuja, the center of Sony LIV's latest original series, Good Bad Girl. After 6 years at her fancy law firm, Maya is about to be fired. In a moment of sudden panic to save her job, she lies and says she has cancer. As the lie escalates and snowballs, Maya realizes that having people believe she has cancer gives her everything she's ever wanted. Sympathy, attention, affection, popularity. Not to mention a bigger office at work. A deliciously promising dark comedy, Good Bad Girl is instantly and immediately bloody interesting. The energy and tone of the series, the dialogue, and even the opening credit sequence are distinctive, refreshing, and bursting with personality. I haven't seen a streaming series this curiously specific in a while, especially within the desperately underserved comedy genre. The show is an intriguing character study of a delightfully immoral figure. The series from showrunner Chaitali Parmar and fellow showrunner and alleged sex offender Vikas Bahl intercuts between 3 time periods. We see Maya as a young child, her college years, and her present day as the lawyer milking a cancer lie for all she can.
You want to do what's best for you. House rent allowance ka kuch ho sakta hai?
Collectively jumping between these 3 timelines, we get a delicate portrait and origin story of a woman who's always had an odd relationship with the truth. In the show's opening scene, during a college placement interview, Maya says, "Sach aur jhoot mein kya farak hai?" Much like Fleabag, which is a clear inspiration for this show, in many ways, Good Bad Girl begins at the end. We see who Maya is today, and each episode gradually unpacks what made her become who she is and how she happened. The Fleabag comparisons here will be countless and justified, but I personally had no issues with that. Trying to emulate something unique and singular and actually pulling it off aren't the same. And despite using the tonality of that show as a stepping off point, this one manages to be its own thing. We see how Maya, as a young girl, was almost incentivized to lie by those around her, and sometimes even punished for telling the truth. Like when Maya tells a neighboring auntie what her mother says about her behind that auntie's back. We see her learn from a school friend who walks with crutches how to use a handicap and sympathy to your advantage. Together, writers Nikhil Arora and Tahira Nath and director Abhishek Sen Gupta create a bloody compelling character to mount a show around. When the narrative permits, I love how we don't quite know how Maya's mind works. Minimally self-aware, charmingly self-destructive, and unsettlingly extreme. We're on a journey to understand her just as she's trying to understand herself. And as the possessive, vengeful liar who's willing to go to any extent to fit in, Good Bad Girl is propelled by a towering performance from an inimitable Samridhi Dewan. She skillfully navigates Maya's hurt, unstable vulnerability, and tragic need for connection beneath a spunky, people-pleasing veneer. But on the flip side, the writers rely too much on the crutch of the darkly comic tone and quirky energy, and that alone isn't enough to carry a show. All too often in our streaming shows, we see character getting steamrolled by plot. But for once here, it's interestingly the opposite. The writers are so focused and enamored with exploring Maya that they don't build up enough plot around her to give us something to hold on to each episode. I wish, for example, that we got to see Maya handle more than just one legal case through the entire series. Especially early on, episodes sort of start to blur together and soon the narrative starts to feel stagnant. That is until it entirely comes apart by the last episode, where for some reason the show opts to be a thriller with a forced cliffhanger rather than focus on its emotional character study elements. As a result, Good Bad Girl certainly doesn't earn its 9-episode length. I also wish the characters around Maya were given more to do. While a solid Vaibhav Gupta, for example, plays her office rival, desperate to expose her truth and bring her down, aside from him there's also Maya's boyfriend played by Zain Khan, who I never quite knew how to feel about. Maya also shares an electric back and forth with her doctor, played with an easy charm by Soham Majumdar. But we only get to see him for a few scenes. While Good Bad Girl has a firm hold over how it balances tragedy with comedy, it never quite rises to the potency of very similar shows like Pushpavali, which remains the dark comedy gold standard on Indian streaming because of how it masterfully balanced laugh-out-loud humor with a devastating sensitivity in a way that this show just doesn't. It also must be said that at the start of this year, US TV network Showtime released a comedy series called I Love That For You, which is similarly about a somewhat unstable woman who's about to be fired from her dream job until she lies and tells them she has cancer. I haven't seen that show, but the similarities are striking.
पता है मुझे बुलबुल क्यों कहते हैं? क्योंकि मैं गाती अच्छा हूँ पर बजाती तो उससे भी अच्छा हूँ.
Good Bad Girl is in many ways the spiritual sibling to Sony Liv's other recent series, Dr. Aurora. Like that one, even though this show doesn't quite come together, it goes to some very interesting places that I just couldn't shake. Was I always with it every step of the way and knew exactly what the series was going for? And trying to say, not entirely. And does it land its ending? Certainly not. But I stand by its vision and energy and its willingness to just go for it. It also left me with one of my favorite on-screen visuals this year. Seeing a young Maya seething with rage as she plots revenge against her snooty cousin. That one image captures everything that this show could have been. Funny, tragic, oddly adorable, and objectively unsettling. You can watch Good Bad Girl on Sony LIV. Would I recommend this series to a friend? Just for how it dares to be different and takes a massive swing for the fences? Yes. If you like this review and want to watch more like it, like, share and subscribe to Reviews and More.